Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen of the regiment. Today, we got a very special video, and something that's kind of requested. See, the new Cathay launch is coming out really soon. It is, we can get the boxes. It's on pre-order right now. We can taste it. Grand Cathay will be on the tabletops very, very soon. In fact, if everything goes well, I should be getting my pre-order boxes on my birthday. So that is absolutely the best birthday present because Grand Cathay, I absolutely love them. Now, there is quite a common topic in the old world slash Age of Sigmar sphere, and that is using Grand Cathay, as it is a lot more in tone with Age of Sigmar, as a Age of Sigmar army instead of an old world army. Now, there is a few reasons why people want to do this. Mainly it comes down to two things. One, they already play Age of Sigmar, and they want more models, which, fantastic, that's okay. And two, they might be interested in the old world, but there isn't a lot of players in the area, so it's an easier bet to go and play Age of Sigmar, as it is a much more popular game format or game setting. And don't at me in the comments. It is... we know that Age of Sigmar actually does outsell the old world. Grogs, please. I've heard it all before. Don't at me. However, is it actually worth doing this to the battalion box? Now, we will just be looking at the battalion box itself, as it is the most easiest to convert. There is some models in the Grand Cathay range, such as the Sentinel, that doesn't really transfer one-to-one. You could say that the Sentinel is some sort of Mega Gargant, but it's a bit touch and go on that one. I'm not sure, but like the height of one to the other and stuff like that, and the base sizing, it's all a bit up in the air. Now, looking at the box, this is actually very interesting, and honestly, it looks like a really great value box for Grand Cathay. You get 3 units of Jade Warriors, which can either come as halberds or sword and shield. That's perfect. You got 2 units of Jade Lancers, also pretty good. And you get 2 cannons, which you can change either to a Great Canyon or the Rocket Boy over there on the right, as you can see on the picture. I'm blanking on the name. It's a rocket battery. It is what it is. Although it is really interesting that Grand Cathay isn't launching with any ranged units other than the cannons. It's probably going to be for the second kind of launch that's coming out. Probably sometime next year. So, I can't give you the point value for the different units because we don't actually have the army book quite yet. That's coming again in a couple weeks. But the cost, I can give you that. For the Americans, it'll be 85 USD. Europeans will be 145 USD. And for us Canadians, it's $220. Which, yeah, that's welcome to Canada. We have to... I'm not even going to try to convert to Australian because I know they just pay outrageous amounts. But yeah, Canada, we pay a fair chunk for our models. Now, when it comes to converting these models, this is actually pretty easy for this battalion box. See, when you look at the steel helms for the Age of Sigmar, the steel helm's weapon profile just says steel helm weapons. It doesn't actually say if they're lances, halberds, swords, axes, whatever. So those 3 units of Jade Warriors, you can build them however you want, and they'll still have the weapon profile of a steel helm. Same goes with the Cavaliers, although the Jade Lancers will just have, of course, lances. So the Cavaliers don't have to worry about that too much. The Great Cannon, though, you can kind of get away with. I mean, you can build 2 cannons if you really want, or you can build 1 as a cannon and 1 as a rocket boy, because the Great Cannons does have 2 weapon profile. One is grape shot, and the other one is basically a cannonball. So you can basically, when the cannon moves, it uses grape shot. When it stays still, it uses the cannonball. And I'm not going to go into the different weapon profiles or like the damage profiles for those ones. just know that there is two different weapon profiles when it's moving or not moving. So you can kind of get away with building one as a rocket and one as a cannon, although you probably should just build both as a cannon or build both as a rocket, just to make things look similar. As a glorious member of the regiment, of course, we have hobby skills, and we want to save money as much as humanly possible, especially if you're in Canada because models are expensive. Now, if you look at those Great Cannon batteries, you see that it has 2 Ogre units. Now, there is an Ogre unit in the Cities of Sigmar model range. And if you look at the other model connected to these cannons, you see what looks like either a man or a woman pointing. Now, using a bit of hobby skill, such as using leftover sprues, leftover shields from the Great Warriors, you can make quite the interesting platform to put on top of the Ogre. That's right, if you use basically 2 models from the cannon range, you can make 2 different Fusilier Majors, which are heroes of the Cities of Sigmar range. Yeah, they look a bit goofy, but it works. It just works. Now, if we're going on the assumption that both cannons can make both models that you see on screen, if you look onto the actual cannon itself, you see a guy in the back, or woman in the back, holding a spear. Now, if we just cut off the end there, or do some hobbying on the end, that almost looks like a staff, now isn't it? So we could potentially convert those 2 units into battle mages. So we're getting even more value out of this box than what meets the eye, right? Just doing a little bit of hobbying. So altogether, to do a cost breakdown, if we can get the 3 steel helm units, 2 of the Cavalier units, 2 cannons, 2 Fusilier Majors, and 2 battle mages, for paying 220 Canadian, we are getting the value of $746. If we were paying as 185 USD for the battalion box, we will get the value of $626. And if we were paying 145 euros, we'd get 488 euros, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, points per dollar cost, for Canadian, it's 6.2. For the US or Americans, it is a 7.4. And the Europeans, it is a grand total of 9.5. Now, to put that into context, the Custodes in the 40k range is one of the best points per model in the entire setting, and that's at 3.2. So even if we said that 3.2 was American, because I'm not entirely sure if it was American or Canadian dollars, if I'm being completely honest, but let's say it's American. Let's say that conversion was American. That is still almost double the points per dollar cost, even if we're buying Canadian at a higher price. So if you want to get the Cathay box, this battalion box, and convert it into a Cities of Sigmar army, it's going to be amazing value, great value, 10 out of 10 value. Oh, and before I forget, the 2 battle mages, if you go on to the actual points, in-game points, right, it's 180. The Cavaliers times 2 is 300 for both of them. Steel Helms for 3 is 240 because Cities of Sigmar is very much a chaff army. Great Cannons times 2 is 200. And the Fusilier Majors times 2 is 280 for a grand total of 1,380 points onto the field. That is incredible. That is amazing. Now, if you did want to go and get a Cities of Sigmar army and kind of flesh it out, there's a lot of really easy ways you can do that. For example, you can get more of the Musketeers. I believe they're called Fusiliers, if I remember correctly. Let me just double check that 1 second. That is Fusiliers, yeah. So you can get more Fusiliers. You can actually get like a monster hero, so a Free Guild Marshal on the Griffin, or the Lioness herself. You can get some more heroes like the Von Dest from the really awesome Witch Hunter series of books. Highly recommend those books, by the way. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can just add, like one unit here, 1 unit there, and you can make it really good, make this army really pop. And luckily for the Age of Sigmar, for the Cities of Sigmar range, there isn't a lot of legend heroes. So you really don't have to worry. You can use a lot of old world stuff, like for example, the old world Dark Elf range can be used in Cities of Sigmar, and also some of the like the steam tanks and the Luminarch of Hesh can be used from the old world into the Age of Sigmar range. So you can kind of like double dip on both. So that's really good. That's actually really fantastic. Great value army, great value box. If you are going to go, again, convert this into a Cities of Sigmar army, you will have to rebase some of the units. You're not going to have to worry too much about the Jade Warriors. That's going to be fine. It's a 28 mil base. 28 mil even round is just, it's the same thing. The only thing you're going to really have to worry about is the horses. The base, again, that's more of an oval shaped base. It's not really too much of a problem, but yeah, you might want to think about rebasing them. It should be around the same size, but it's going to be slightly longer. And as for the cannons, you really don't have to worry about the cannons too much, because it's a cannon. If it gets charged, the base really doesn't matter. The only thing that I am questioning is the ogres. Now, I believe, looking at the bases, the ogres of the Flugular Major and the ogres that I'm seeing, the square-based ones, are roughly the same, but you might want to rebase those as well. And if you are going to try to like double dip and say, oh, I want a Grand Cathay Army 1 week and then a Cities of Sigmar Army the next week, if you are going to convert the cannon crew into Flugular Majors, you can probably still do so, because again, the ogre model will still be, like, if you're still using a square base, that'll be okay, but you're just going to add extra square bases on each side of the cannons, just to, actually, no, I don't even think you need to do that. No, in fact, if you leave, no, you will have to do that, yeah, so you're going to add 2 square bases on each side of the cannons, just put that as like a gunpowder box, something like that, just to make sure it is the proper width. Just in case people are, a bit finicky about that. You can still leave the one person on top of the ogre. That should be completely fine. I don't see any problems with that, because it is one basically same unit that kind of sticks together. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this was an informative video. I hope you guys are excited for Grand Cathay as I am. Again, this channel is doing a rebranding. So we are going to go into a bit more of a Cathay theme. So I am super excited about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've been well. I hope you found this video entertaining. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you like this, and I'll see you next time.